Hello and welcome to Learning Lofts. As we dive into the 3 pillars of the Learning Lofts, I want to just spend a minute of time just sharing with you the reason why I've created Learning Lofts and what I hope you gain from it as we move through these 3 pillars. As an educator over the last 26 years, I found that many times as educators, we are given new techniques, new tools, new curriculum, new routines, and it's kind of like we throw the baby out with the bathwater. And what I find is that many times it's a small change that we need to do that makes the biggest difference. And if we do that small change consistently over time and add to it to refine it, those are the meaningful techniques that are needed, not a whole overhaul. So with that being said, we're going to dig into pillar number 1 of Learning Lofts. At the bottom of the page, you'll find a checklist. If you haven't already, go ahead and print that. And so you can identify the space that you want to look at and analyze to determine what you need to do moving forward. Remember, the goal of pillar number 1 is to identify a space that is not working to create the calm, joyful space that you want as the educator. And when I mean educator, I am meaning any educator. That is a homeschool parent, a micro school or learning pod teacher or guide, or a classroom teacher of 20 or 30 kids. So remember, the goal is for you to create the space you want. And that's what this is all about. You have to spend many hours there, so might as well enjoy it. Okay, hopefully you got your checklist printed. And as you look at the checklist, you're gonna notice a few things. It's called a reset checklist, and I want you to observe the space when you have a moment. If you haven't done this already, you can think about it right now, or you can pause this video and come back to it when it would make sense for you. So what I want you to do is walk around the space and notice what areas do your students get distracted with. Is there any areas that you feel like is chaotic and is not working for you? Are those transition periods? Are those collections of items or handing out items? Where do kids do their best and are they most focused? What's happening in that space? We want to replicate that if we can. And then I want you to pick one area that we're going to focus on. Remember, don't think about all the things. That's going to be too much. We're going to pick one area to focus on and develop that clearly so that you can then repeat that same process once that routine has been developed and is secure. We don't want to do too many things because then it won't work. Okay? So, first thing, once you've identified the space that you're going to work in, I want you to think about, is there anything that you can simplify? Before we try to put a system in place, is there anything that you can simplify to ensure that the space is not cluttered, overwhelming, or confusing? Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of a space that I found was not working for me as a classroom teacher, and I implemented a system that I really enjoyed. So what was not working for me was like the passing out items and collecting of items for my first graders. That's always a hard thing for kids to be able to do. And so I implemented a system that worked very well for me. Okay, so first thing, clear the space. As an educator, I tend to buy things and then not want to get rid of things. So first thing I had to do was to clear the space. All the cute little bins that I thought were adorable or unique or, you know, would be great for these little things and these little trinkets and stuff, I got rid of them. I needed only the simple things that would work for my space. 2, I wanted to color code things. I like color coding. I think it works well for littles or kids with disabilities. And I've seen that work very well for other people, so I color coded. So I had red, blue, green, yellow, and purple. 5 tables was what I had with 4 kids at each table, and everything was in that color code. So think about for you, what is the area you want to work on? Did you think about some things you can get rid of? So for me, I had to get rid of all the pencil holders that didn't match my system that I'm going to put in place. And then 2, I developed a system that was going to work for me. In the beginning, I didn't want to go out and buy a whole bunch of items because I wasn't sure if it was going to work. So what I did was I just used tape and taped the outside of baskets that were all the same size. And on my pencil caddies, I used little stickers to help me start with that process. And then the next year when I liked the system, I bought the color coded things. So just think about how can you do it without having to spend a whole bunch of money so that you can create the space that you want without trying it first, I guess. Then third thing, so 1 was clear the space, 2 was create what my routine was going to be or my system. First thing was I got rid of everything that wasn't needed. Second, I made sure that everything at that table was the same color. So when I say everything, I mean everything. All the folders were yellow. The pencil caddy was yellow. The baskets were yellow. So then when I created the system that I was going to use with my kids, I could just say something like, yellow table, put away your items. Or everyone put your items in your folder, your color folder. By creating a system that everybody knew what I was talking about, it created a space that I didn't have to say exactly what folder I was talking about or what I was meaning when I called the color out. And so that allowed me to have clear expectations with a simple system in place. So I can go into that in more detail later, but for right now, we're going to keep it simple. So my goal was to have a folder that the kids kept their work in. Then I had a basket that the folders went in, and then I had a pencil caddy. And all their items went in that pencil caddy. So those 3 things are what kept my space organized for my kids. Before this, the kids would have papers all over the floor, or I would say to go put it in their cubby, and they would fall on the floor, and it was just a mess. With this folder system, they were able to put their items in the folder, and if they happened to miss, most likely they landed in the basket. I still know what kids it went to, and it just made it a lot easier. And then practice the routine. So once I knew that this is the direction I was going to go, I needed to practice the routine, and I needed to name exactly what I wanted it to look like. So when I told them to put their items in their folder, I needed to think about what that was going to look like, and would they understand, and did I need multiple folders? I decided not to have multiple folders because I just taught my kids to put finished work on one side and not finished work on the other, and then inside the folder I had it labeled so that they knew what was finished and what was unfinished. But it's up to you on how you want to do your system. The key though is that you need to identify what it looks like, what it sounds like, and what you expect the kids to do. And you need to teach that consistently. So we had to practice multiple times being very clear before I could just say something like, items in your folder, line up for lunch, or whatever. So I hope this is helpful, and that's pillar 1. Identify a space that you are going to create a system that you need to work on, and then create what the system is by identifying what it should look like and sound like, and what is the expectation of the kids during that space, and then teach it. So those are the 3 steps that you need to do, and this can work for morning routines, lining up, going to their desk, bathroom breaks. If you're a homeschool parent, what does their morning look like? So It's clearly identifying what you want it to sound like and look like and expectations of kids. Okay, thanks.